Hello, and welcome to the Emotional Wisdom Seminar Series. My name is Carrie Tucker. I'm a licensed clinical social worker at the LSU Mental Health Service within the LSU Student Health Center. I'm going to turn it over to my co-facilitator.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jelena Djurovic. I am a Doctoral Psychology Intern, also within the LSU Student Health Center's Mental Health Services.
Thanks, Jelena. Okay, so again, welcome to the Emotional Wisdom webinar series. Within this series, we're going to discuss some really practical skills for handling stress, anxiety, and depressed moods in everyday life. Rather than dismiss emotions as unhelpful, messy, we really encourage you to view your emotions as an internal compass pointing you towards or away from things. When faced with vulnerability, we tend to feel anxious and scared. When we experience loss, we often feel sad. And when faced with injustice, we often feel angry. All emotions have purpose, and we can choose how to respond to them. If you can learn to pay attention to what emotions are telling you and practice helpful ways to respond to intense or uncomfortable emotions, you'll be better able to, or feel better prepared to navigate the ups and downs of life. This is what we refer to as emotional wisdom. We encourage you to actively seek out additional support as you need it, including perhaps contacting the LSU Wellness and Health Promotion Department or LSU Mental Health Service to explore wellness coaching and counseling resources that are available to you. Today, we're going to learn and practice mindfulness skills. Mindfulness skills have been shown to have really widespread benefits for both mind and body. These are grounded in cognitive science and centuries of meditative practices. Mindfulness training may seem daunting at first, especially if it's something that you haven't done before, but we're going to introduce very basic skills that can be used in everyday life. And our hope is that everyone can learn to be mindful. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Jelena.
Thank you so much, Carrie, for this introduction. So we're going to jump right in, and we're going to discuss this idea of mindlessness versus mindfulness. And so when we talk about mindfulness, the antidote to mindfulness is mindlessness, which is something you're probably very familiar with. It is going through your day on an autopilot, trying to juggle multiple responsibilities throughout your day, and just kind of going through it without thinking about what you're doing. What's interesting is the statistics that says that an average adult spends about half of their time, 50% of their time, in the mindlessness mode. I invite you to really think about that. That means that half of your life, you're not present for what you're doing. That to me is a scary statistic. So mindfulness, on the other hand, entails being present in the moment of what you're doing. So if you're worrying about the past, that can cause depression, right? If you're worrying about the future, that can cause you to feel anxious. If you're in the present moment and being mindful, then that can kind of make you less susceptible to depression and anxiety. So to be mindful includes these 3 simple steps. The first step is to observe. Really pay attention to what's going on around you. What are the sensations that you're experiencing? What are your thoughts, feelings? Really pay attention. Describe to yourself what you're going through. What do these sensations look like? What do they feel like? And participate. Really be an active participant in your own life. Participate in what's going on. Stay in the now and focus exclusively on what's going on in the present moment. Let's take, for example, if you're walking around our beautiful LSU campus and maybe you're going from one class to another. To do so mindfully would entail to be present in the moment as you're walking. So maybe you would pay attention to how your feet feel on the concrete, or maybe you would pay attention to the quality of sunlight that's going through the branches above your head. Or maybe there is something that you can hear. What are the other things that you can see? And maybe some things that you can even smell or taste. So really be present and be able to describe these experiences to yourself versus just kind of walking and thinking about your previous class or thinking about what's going to happen in the next class. So just really be present in the moment as you're walking. Obviously, we cannot be present or we cannot be mindful for every single activity we do in our life, every single day, but we can try our best, right? And to do that would entail, for the beginning, choose one activity or two throughout your day that you're going to be purposefully mindful in. Let's say, for example, you choose brushing your teeth in the morning. Really pay attention to what does the toothbrush feel in your mouth? What is the quality of your toothbrush? What is the material of your toothbrush? How much pressure are you applying as you're brushing your teeth? What movements, what kind of movements are you making? What is the flavor of your toothpaste in your mouth, for example? Or really think about how your teeth are getting cleaned. Really think about your toothbrush going in between your teeth and cleaning everything. And maybe as you're rinsing, you're paying attention to the water that you're rinsing with. Is it hot? Is it cold? How does it feel? What are the sensations that you're experiencing? Or maybe you can pick another activity that you do towards the end of your day, like let's say you want to eat your dinner mindfully. Pay attention to the color and texture and flavors of your food. Really be present as you eat your food, and try to do so without watching TV or listening to music or anything else, because that will distract you. So try to practice these simple steps every day with maybe 1 to 2 activities of your choice. And I'm going to give it to Carrie.
Thanks, Jelena. That's great. When you were talking about the differences between mindfulness and mindlessness, it reminded me of a comic strip that I came across several years ago when preparing to do some mindful education with some clients. And it was this image that really kind of depicted what it means to be mindful and mindless. And it was the image of a man, like a cartoon image of a man walking a dog in the park. So like when you were talking about walking across campus mindfully, you can imagine yourself maybe walking a dog in the quad or, in the parade grounds. And the man and the dog both have thought bubbles above their heads. And in the man's thought bubble, it is completely full. So he has, like his grocery list. He has a list of to-do things for that day. It was like call mom, study for test, bring something to my friend's house, respond to emails, all these different things, right? So he's on this walk, but his mind's in a million different places. In contrast to his little puppy, who the thought bubble above his head is empty. And, it doesn't mean that's a negative thing. His thought bubble, he was being present. He was, very engaged in the practice of going on a walk. And so you can imagine that his mindful experience might have been, ooh, squirrel, look, or, ooh, the grass feels nice on my paws, or that breeze is great, or I hear birds chirping, or, whatever dogs think about. And so it was a very, to me, accurate depiction of some of those differences. And, our goal here is not to be mindful every second of every day, because like Jelena mentioned, that's not really possible. But if we could find some time, to be more mindfully engaged in things, it's really good for us. So
That's a wonderful example, Carrie. Thank you.
Thanks, Jelena.
Yeah. Dogs have it right here, right?
They do. We have a lot to learn from our animals. Okay. So curiosity and non-judgment. So there's a common misconception about mindfulness or meditation in general, is that you have to clear your mind totally. Our minds are very naturally active. So this wouldn't really make sense. So instead of trying to clear your mind, try embracing these 2 key principles of mindfulness, which are curiosity and non-judgment. We want to observe everyday experiences with curiosity. To do this, you might want to think of approaching an experience with openness and interest in the ways that a child might. So think, for example, of a child who maybe is going to see the ocean or see a beach for the first time in their lives. And it's a pretty awe-inspiring experience to do that, right? There's like this vast sand and ocean and all these different things. And if you've never seen that, even as an adult, I guess, we want to approach the situations with that same awe, that same curiosity. Take notice of your sensations, thoughts, feelings, behaviors. These are all a big part of that curiosity. You may find that when we have that curiosity, it's often followed by automatic judgments of those experiences as good or bad, right or wrong, positive or negative. A key principle to mindfulness is to practice withholding judgment. So we want to try to observe experiences without judging them. It can be very helpful to use language that emphasizes observation. So for example, try saying to yourself, I notice that my chest is feeling tight. I notice that I'm feeling anxious, rather than simply concluding I'm anxious and that is bad, or judging those experiences. It takes a lot of practice to break these habits of judging. It's a very natural part of what we do. So make sure that you're patient with yourself, you're using some self-compassion as you create these new healthy habits. So I'm going to shift it over to Jelena.
Thank you so much, Carrie. I think by now we are all experts on mindfulness, right?
Yes.
But seriously, I'm inviting you to try. We're going to do a 3-step mindfulness activity. It's a script that I'm going to read off a piece of paper, and I invite you to join in with us to really kind of give it a shot, really kind of immerse yourself in the experience, and don't be judgmental about your judgment. If you feel yourself judging it, if you feel yourself judging yourself, let's say you're like, oh, this sucks, or I suck, I can't do this, I'm not good at this, or whatever. Just notice what's going on and keep going. Try to follow my voice as much as possible. But if you notice some resentment or some judgment, just move along. Don't be judgmental about your judgment. So I'm going to read. We will now try a 3-step mindful awareness meditation. This can be used as a daily practice to help you step out of autopilot and attune to your experiences in the moment. Try closing your eyes to deepen the meditation if that feels comfortable to you. Step 1. Pause and bring awareness to what you're doing, thinking, and sensing at this moment. Notice any thoughts that come up and acknowledge your feelings, but let them pass. You might tell yourself, I notice a thought that, or I notice a feeling of, but imagine letting those go with each breath, not dwelling on any particular thought or feeling. Attune yourself to who you are and your current state. Step 2. Bring awareness to your breathing for the next 30 to 60 seconds. Notice the sensations as your breath comes and goes. Observe the movements of your body, how your chest rises and falls, how your belly pushes in and out, and how your lungs expand and contract. Find the pattern of your breath and anchor yourself to the present with this awareness. Step 3. Expand awareness outward, first to the body, then to the environment. Notice the sensations you're experiencing in your body beyond the breath. Perhaps tightness, aches, or lightness in your face or shoulders. Keep in mind your body as a whole. If you wish, you can then expand your awareness even further to the environment around you. Bring your attention to the sounds around you. Gently open your eyes if they have been closed and notice the colors, shapes, patterns, and textures of the objects that you can see. Be present at this moment in your awareness of your surroundings. As this exercise concludes, try to carry that mindfulness with you as you go about your day.
Thanks, Jelena. So we're gonna move into some everyday mindfulness. So in addition to mindfulness meditation, there are other ways that that you can practice being mindful in everyday life. We're now going to consider how a mindful approach to conversation, or it's also called active listening, can have a positive impact on relationships. Active listening involves the 3 A's: attitude, attention, and adjustment. So mind what attitude you bring into a conversation. So we want to think about cultivating empathy for the other person's experience. When we do this, you'll likely find that curiosity and non-judgment are qualities of a good listener, which can really help in your relationships to build trust and connection. The second A is attention. So with attention, it's not surprising that others really appreciate verbal and nonverbal cues that you're paying attention and really listening and care about what they're telling you. This can be really challenging with frequent distractions in life. So like text messaging, maybe other things that are happening around you as you're in a conversation. So, you know, remind yourself of what it feels like or what it can feel like to be heard, and then try your best to refocus and apply mindfulness skills. The third active listening skill is adjustment. So we want to really adjust to the flow of the conversation. Listen carefully to what the other person is communicating to you, rather than getting caught up in your own thoughts or in what you might say next. So especially with maybe arguments or conflict, I think it's very tempting to kind of have your argument ready for when the person stops talking. But when we're doing that, we're not really listening. We might be hearing, but we're not listening. And so that's a really important skill. This mindful attention and all of this active listening stuff reminds me of a training that I attended several years ago. And in this training, it was a training for therapists, and part of it was about being a mindful listener. And there was an exercise that we participated in where we were asked to get into pairs. So it was 2 therapists, and in the pairs, one person would take the role of the client, and the other would take the role of the therapist. So the client was given the instruction to tell just some experience from their life, maybe over the last couple of weeks. It didn't have to be anything really exciting, just something that happened to them. And they were going to share that same experience in the same way 3 different times. And the therapist was given the instruction to listen to each telling of the story in 3 different ways. So in one way, they would be listening with judgment. So as they're listening and hearing what the person's saying, they're thinking about what their own thoughts and beliefs are about what that person's saying. In the second one, they were listening to find solutions or to problem solve. So maybe they were sharing some kind of difficulty, and the therapist would be thinking about how they could help solve this problem. And then in the third scenario, or in the last scenario, they were just listening. Just actively engaged in mindful listening without judgment, without problem solving or finding solutions. And the trick in this was that the therapist was supposed to mix those 3 up. So they were not telling the client which way of listening they were doing. And without fail, at the end of the exercise, every single time, the person in the role of the client could always tell when the therapist was just listening. And to me, that's a really powerful example of how important it is to really be mindful when we're listening, and how that could really benefit all of our relationships. Okay, so I'm going to move on to our final mindfulness skill for today, which is related to gratitude. An abundance of research supports how applying mindful awareness to gratitude can really boost moods. It can help connections with the world around us, and it can even help to increase healthy behaviors. Take some time to reflect on 1 to 3 things that you feel grateful for each day. You may choose to write these things down, maybe in a gratitude journal. You can say them out loud to yourself or share them with someone else. The simple act of tracking what you feel thankful for can really turn this skill into a healthy habit. I'd like to take just a moment today to lead you in a brief gratitude meditation. So this meditation script is taken from a website called Change to Chill That's change, CHANGE, to chill, CHILL.org. So if you want to look it up on your own and maybe practice another time, that's how you can get to it. Okay. So take some time to place yourself in a comfortable position. Take a few deep breaths and begin to let your chest rise and fall with each inhalation and each exhalation. When you're ready, and if you feel comfortable, you can let your eyes drift closed. As you continue to breathe slowly and deeply, let your attention rest gently on your breath. Feeling the movement of the breath as it enters and exits your body. Each time you exhale, try to let go of any tension that you may be experiencing in your body. Start to relax the muscles in your face, your shoulders, your belly, and your legs. On your next exhale, settle your attention to the area around your heart. Focus on the feelings of love, compassion, empathy, and forgiveness that may be there. With your attention on your heart center, bring to mind something or someone who you are grateful for. As you continue with your easy, relaxed breathing, perhaps you feel gratitude for being alive or for being healthy. Perhaps you are grateful for the abundance of nature that produces food to nourish your body and beautiful scenery to nourish your soul. Bring your attention to people who truly nourish you in your life and how they bless you with their presence. Feel gratitude for your own life and the many gifts you've been blessed with. Now bring your attention to how this gratitude feels in the area around your heart. With each inhale, let this feeling grow outwards, expanding to fill your chest, your arms, your hands, your legs, and your feet. With each inhale, this feeling grows, filling you up. And now, even as you return your attention to your breath, let your body remember the sensations of your gratitude and try to take them with you into your day. When you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes and return your focus to the room that you're sitting in. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it over to Jelena.
Thank you so much, Carrie. That was so beautiful. The meditation. I'm still in the meditation. So hopefully by now we have tickled your attention with the mindfulness and everything we spoke about. And if that's the case, we are super excited about that, and we encourage you to keep practicing. If you want to deepen your practice and learn more, you can check out mindful.org, which is a website with free meditation and mindfulness practices. Highly recommended. Also, There is a highly regarded mental health app, which is called Headspace. It can really help you use your tech skills to learn mental health skills, basic mental health activities, and even deepen your practice to more advanced levels of mental health. And also, we invite you to check out our additional emotional wisdom webinars that are available through our mental health service.
Okay, I wanted to briefly talk about levels of care that are available both through the Student Health Center and in some ways things that you can do on your own. So in the first level of care, and again, these are levels of care for emotional and mental wellness. These are some things you can do on your own for level one. It's a journey of the senses, a stress survival packet, and relax. It's a workbook for stress management. These are both things that are available from the Student Health Center. So if you do go in to see a therapist or a wellness coach, they can give you copies of these once we're back in the building. And then also just regular practices of exercise. These are all things that are really good for your emotional and mental health. For level two, there are some things you can also do on your own. So if you're interested in ASMR, you can look that up on the internet and how to get into that. Lots of health and wellness apps. I know Jelena mentioned some of those earlier. Meditation and mindfulness, and we're all experts on the mindfulness piece now. And MindWise is an online screening tool that's available through our website. So if you want to screen yourself and see what different things you may be dealing with, and My Student Body stress module is also available. So our next level of care is our third level, and that incorporates our Let's Talk program. This is a newer program that's offered through Mental Health Service, where we have mental health clinicians who go to different areas of campus throughout the semesters and do brief anonymous consultations with students. So maybe this might be appropriate for the student who's not quite ready for therapy, or they're not sure if they're ready for therapy or coaching, but they just want to know more. So you can come, and it's usually a 10 or 15-minute consultation. The student can kind of let us know what they're thinking about or what their questions are, and we can kind of help direct them and point them in the right direction that might help them get their needs met. The mental health seminars, which you are engaging in right now, so congratulations for taking care of yourself in that way, we offer these every semester as well. And the phone, which is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week crisis hotline. The phone number is listed on here. You can call that number anytime, day or night, for confidential support. And this is something that as an LSU student you pay for on your fee bill, so I always encourage you to take advantage of that if you need it. And then wellness coaching. So this is a resource through our wellness and health promotion department. They do wellness coaching on lots of different topics, all the way from stress management to time management to relationships. There's all kind of great stuff. Okay, the next level of care has to do with LSU Mental Health Service. So we offer individual and group counseling within the Student Health Center. And we also have a case manager, Miss Natalie, who's wonderful, who can help connect you to resources outside in the community. So it could be physical health, like if you need a referral to a doctor or a nurse, if you need help with signing up for insurance or any kind of other benefit, or if you need connection to maybe a therapist in the community. And finally, level 5 is for more acute crisis situation. So if you feel like you're in a mental health crisis, if you feel like you're in a danger to yourself or others, simply call the number to the health center, to mental health, and they will connect you to a crisis counselor. That is during our regular business hours. If it's after hours, that number to the phone that I mentioned earlier in level 3 is a wonderful resource as well. Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to Jelena.
So going off of what Carrie was saying, LSU Student Health Center serves student health needs through our medical clinic, mental health service, and wellness and health promotion. And as you can see, there is a range of services that are put in place to help support students' medical and mental health. And in medical clinic, we have primary care, specialty care, gynecology clinics, laboratory, diagnostic imaging, and physical rehab. In the mental health service, we have individual counseling, group counseling, anxiety, depression management, psychopharmacology, eating disorder treatment team. And in wellness and health promotion, we have wellness coaching, nutrition counseling, group programming, classes, outreach events, the Lighthouse program, and the volunteer opportunities. And I'm going to leave it to Carrie, who can tell you how you can stay connected with us.
Thank you. Okay, so we want you to stay connected. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or Pinterest at LSU Health Center, or visit us on the website at lsu.edu/Student Health Center. We want to thank you for joining us today. We hope that this has been helpful. We hope that you all feel comfortable and competent now to begin your own journey of mindfulness practice. And again, thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Enjoy
so
the
much.
rest of your day. Thank you.
Stay healthy, tigers.